Well, good morning. This is Jim Moore, and you are tuned in to Justice for America. I almost said words of encouragement. We have two programs that we do. Justice for America. It is Tuesday, November 18th, 2024, and this is episode number 110. We're going to be talking today about real reformation that is coming. We're going to talk about the dream team that the president-elect has picked. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it in between? We're going to talk about the plan for the reformation and restoration of our country back to some of its basic principles. And then finally, we're going to be talking about the coming backlash that we're not predicting will come. We're telling you it's already coming. Okay. And so on and so on. So let's jump right into it. I want to encourage you to hit the like button and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that before, and then hit the notification bell. If you don't do that, you won't be notified as to when these come on, and it'll be just up to the algorithms whether they want you to see it or not. Even when you do the notification bell, sometimes you get denotified. All these crazy things we're learning about, and then ultimately share the program. If you got something out of it, that helps tremendously. And again, come on, say hello. There's my beloved. Good morning, my love. And say hello to one another, talk to one another. This helps the algorithms wake up so that other people will be able to see it. All right, let's just jump right in. Now, first of all, I want to start with some breaking news today you may or may not have heard about. And that is that President Biden has, wait a minute, hold the presses. Let me say this first. There's some of you going to watch this right now in the very beginning, and for whatever reason, you're turned off by politics. And let's not just say politics, because politics is the act of making policy or laws, or things that regulate human behavior in our country. Or maybe you're a believer, you're a Christian. A lot of Christians watch this program and you say, I don't think I'm supposed to. Let me just say it this way. God, I'm going to give you, this is my POV, my point of view, okay? My opinion. I believe it's the right one. God wants you to be concerned about the world you live in. Yes, ultimately, we are concerned about eternity. My primary job is to help people be right when they enter into eternity. But God has never indicated that he wants us to not be concerned about the world that's going on around us, people that get sick or they get unjustly treated, or deception that is among those who are in leadership. All those things matter. And here's my ultimate thing, and I'll stop right here. Hey there, Mom, God bless, I love you. Here's my saying, okay? I hear people say this all the time. It doesn't matter. Oh, that just doesn't matter. Almost like, well, I'm just too good for that. Okay. Now, I talk straight, okay? So if I offend you, feel free to go somewhere else, but I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? Here's the rule that I live by, and it's a good rule. If it matters to God, it matters to me. Now, when you ask yourself the question, does our schools matter to God? Yes, they do. How many of you have someone you know who's in the military? And you pray for them, right? Why? Because that individual matters to God. And what the military does to them or through them, good or bad, matters to God, right? So it's really easy just to brush stuff off and go, it doesn't matter to me. And we've got to shift our way of thinking about this. We really do. So if it matters to God, it matters to me. Now, I really want to quickly, that's a good rule. Thank you. Thank you. And I believe it is. Now, I didn't always believe that way, but I do now. Anyway, we have to change our way of thinking. Now, you can't do everything. You cannot be passionately concerned about every issue. You just can't. Okay, nobody but God has the capacity to be passionate and involved in everything that's going on in the world. 100% that is true. Our garden, I call it our garden can only hold so many things, okay? But God will call us to do certain things, but we never, just because I'm not called to be in the military, doesn't mean I get to check out and go, I don't care about that, okay? You get what I'm saying? All right, so this is why it's important that we know what's going on in the world, so that we can pray, so that we can voice our opinion when we should, and so on and so on. Hi, Christy. All right. This just happened. News flash. President Biden has lifted the, what would I say, the rule lifted. So up until this point, we have not been willing to send or, I don't know, give permission. I'm stumbling on my word. I'm not sure how to say this. But up until a couple of days ago, we said we will not send long range. Now, hear me when I say this. Long range ballistic missiles that, yes, don't let anybody deceive you, can be armed with nuclear warheads. I'm not saying they will be. But we have given Ukraine, Zelensky and Ukraine, permission to use weapons that we are giving them to fire long-range missiles. This just happened. Up until now, it wasn't permitted. Long-range missiles into the heart of Russia. That's bad. That's really bad. Now, I want you to think about this. Okay? I'm going to get to my main subjects, but this just happened. I just found out about it, so I wanted to get it on here. I want you to think about what's happening. If you are naive enough to think that the outgoing administration is playing nice because they are just going, we lost, we're going to let this new administration, Donald Trump and his cabinet picks, come in and just do whatever they want. I saw a picture the other day in the, I think it was the Oval Office, where President Biden and President-elect Trump were sitting across from each other and reached out, and Biden reached out to shake President-elect Trump's hand. And then I read someone that did a little meme on that, and underneath it they wrote, I can't believe it. I didn't write this, they wrote it. I can't believe it. President Biden is shaking Hitler's hand. Now, if that weren't so serious, it would be laughable, and you got to laugh at this stuff sometimes. So they spent the last year plus during the campaign saying this man is a Nazi and he's Hitler. He said, and not just him, because he didn't say as much of it outright as other people underneath him did, but the idea is that was given out. Threat to democracy, we're going to go back to World War II. You know, all this crazy talk. And now it's all of a sudden, hey, welcome, Mr. President. So glad to have you back. We're going to pray for, or we're going to have a peaceful transition. Ha 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 ha, says the devil. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not calling him the devil. But says the spider to the fly. So let me just give you the reason. I don't want to be sarcastic and mocking here, but here's the real reason. Here is the philosophy behind this. 100%, the administration that is not just suddenly going to roll over and go, up, you know, we fought the good fight, we lost. Come on in, we'll bless what you do. Absolutely. I'm not giving you a theory, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute if you have the courage to listen. Absolutely, they are going, we're going to do whatever it takes to stop you from coming in. Okay, they're not saying it directly to him, but they're saying him. Okay? All right. So, the reason they did we're going to have a peaceful transition, you know, hey, we love you, now you're not Hitler, or whatever, is so they can look back and say, look, all this bad stuff that happened, it wasn't us. You know, there may be more attempts on his life. There will most definitely be subversion from the halls of Congress and so on. They want to be able to look back and keep putting that frame up that says, look, this wasn't us, that we're not responsible for all this stuff that's happening. Okay, you get what I'm saying. So, Ukraine. Imagine you are the president of the United States, and you have, 2 months-ish, something like that, before you were gone. And one of your last acts is to lift the ban on long-range ballistic missiles into this country that as soon as Trump was elected, they were already start talking about a ceasefire and peace and everything. It looks as though, hear me when I say this, and I'm gonna be bold about this. It looks as though they want to start a war. Hi, Elijah. Are you listening to what I'm saying? You can say Jim said it. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Okay? I am live. Yeah. It looks very much like the outgoing administration wants, remember I told you a number of times before, do not be shocked at anything. Oh, you're saying he's live. Okay, he's live. All right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, you're talking to each other. I apologize. All right. It's like I've said this before. How far will these guys go? You don't understand. It's probably really almost impossible to understand the mindset, not only of some of these politicians, some of the Hollywood elite, governing rulers, global elite powers that actually have people like BlackRock, George Soros, and I don't need to name them all. You understand there are people with immense power that influence people of lesser power. You cannot really fully understand where they want this to go and how much they consider this man to be in the way of that. Okay, now this is not a theory. This is what they are saying. Okay, they're the ones saying it. All right, so, and again, it says in the scripture that before this is over, we will have a global government, we will have a global financial system, and we will have a global religion. Now, that's what God said if you believe him. And yes, it is demonic. That's what I'm trying to say, is some of these individuals, whether they believe they are being motivated by unseen forces. Even some people who are just conservatives, kind of nominal Christians at one time, or not even believers at all, are starting to come to this understanding as they see this battle between light and dark escalate. They're going, this has to be God and the devil. I mean, they may not be fully on board with Jesus or anything yet, but they're starting to see it. All right. So, and then there are, of course, some of these elites who are committed by their own testimony to the service of a Luciferian doctrine, which they may not think there is a literal Lucifer behind that doctrine, but there actually is. It doesn't really matter if you don't believe it. Yeah, it matters if it's true. All right, so we need to pray. One of the reasons I wanted to do this program today, and I want to be real plain about this. Again, I'm not being apologetic or like afraid here. I just know that there are people that watch this. You're not a believer, but you want the information. And I'm saying, if you are a praying person, if you know God and you know he hears your prayers, it is not time to stop praying or even sort of, we celebrated, yay. I remember saying this when the abortion ban passed. It's not actually a ban, please don't quote me, but you get what I'm saying. It's like everybody was celebrating. I celebrated too. It's worth celebrating. But then I really felt to tell people, listen, this is not over. This is a battle in a long war. So please don't, we need a break, right? We're intercessors, we're seeking God, we're sharing information, we're standing on the battle, we're trying to just make sure America doesn't become another third world country and minimize what we're able to do with speaking the gospel and so on. And so we get a victory and we just want to lay back and enjoy it for a while. I get that. I really, really get that. Okay? Hey, I think that was Christine. God bless you guys. Talk it up, guys. Thank you. You're doing great. This is not the time to do that. Between now and January 20th, they will pull out all the stops. Do not be shocked if you see something like literally a nuclear bomb going off. Okay, I'm not prophesying that. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen. But today, and I'm still on this first thing, Vladimir Putin, because we lifted the restrictions on sending, imagine if someone did this to us. Imagine if Mexico said, they said, hey, guys, we're going to send a long-range ballistic missile into Chicago. And, who cares if you don't like it? That's an act of war. And Putin has come out and said, if you do this, it's an act of war, not just for the United States of America, but all the NATO countries, Britain, all these different, the NATO pact that will support and fight for each other. It will literally be the beginning of World War III. If Putin reacts as he says, because he now has changed his, what they call the nuclear doctrine. Okay, in other words, just to make it really simple, the nuclear doctrine is a written thing that says, when we hit this red line, when you cross this line, we will use nuclear weapons. Now, nobody's ever done that. Nobody's been foolish enough to do that because they know that that will get a response also of nuclear weapons, and it could start like what was that old movie, War Games, I think it was. Some of you old timers see that, where, you know, they played all these scenarios about one person fires a nuke and then another and another, and before you know it, there's all these big red dots all over the world and the whole world's gone, okay? That is not an impossibility, okay? Say, well, God would never let that happen. Yeah, well, some people never thought he'd let World War I and World War II. World War II, where 55 million people died. Oh, God would never let that happen. You know, sometimes it's not about what God allows. It's what we do. It's our foolishness. Hey, Steve. Hey, Brother Bob, God bless you. All right, so this is a big deal, and this needs to be prayed for. Okay, let's move along. Now, again, these links are all going to be there. I encourage you to take the time to watch as many as you can, as always. And always, 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 I love to hear whether or not you did. Okay, it makes my day when somebody goes, I watched them. And then it really makes my day when somebody says, I watched them all. Hi, Elizabeth. All right. So let's go ahead then and go to number 1. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, so my title is not necessarily in order. I want you to stay all the way to the end if you can today. Video number 1 is actually a compilation of videos. Now, I was made aware of this recently, and I'm so glad I found out. It was there all along, but I didn't know about it. So the official Donald J. Trump website has about, what did I write down? 45 short, 2 to 3 to 5 minutes long, 45 short videos. They all look exactly the same except for different ties and shirts, where the president-elect is standing in front of a couple of flags, flanked these flags, and he's just saying, here's what I'm going to do. It's really simple. It's not complicated at all. He says, here's what I'm going to do if I get elected. Okay? To my knowledge, I've never seen this before. I've never known it. Somebody might have done it. I don't know. But for him to put this stuff out, morning, ahead of time, and alert his enemies, okay, the deep state, I'm going to be using that phrase a number of times today, and you may not know what the deep state is, hang on, okay. He alerted through these videos, and again, there's 45 of them. I'm only giving you one, but I'm also giving you the link where you can go and see all of them, as many as you want, okay. And a number of them are really, really good. There's a couple I was kind of like, Donald, really, take a chill pill. But most of them are really good. He's going to be talking about how he literally will disassemble the deep state, how he's going to stop human, or at least hinder human trafficking coming across our borders, those who are coming in illegal, the wars. I mean, it just covers so many things. Our educational system. This is a dream scenario that he goes through. If he was able to do 5 of the 45 things, you would see dramatic change in this country. I'm not kidding you, okay? These are things that the woke and the left don't want to see happen because they don't agree with their global agenda and their idea of just pretty much, you know, they just like want to legalize almost everything. It's not a fantasy. They literally do. Especially things that have to do with sexuality, pretty much take everything off the legal and just let anybody do what they want, consenting. All right, so anyway, the first link, I'm at link number 1 here. The first link is how you can go to and find all 45 of these videos, okay? Watch as many or as few as you want. Number 2 is one of those links, okay? Again, for those of you who have not watched in a while or this is your first time, what I do is I put a number of links down for you to do your homework, be responsible, and listen to. I try to do the short ones. And even if they're really long, I try to remind you, you don't have to watch the whole thing if it's like an hour long. Most of the time, they lead with the most important stuff. Although if you can, it's great. All right. All right, there's, yes, thank you. Amen. So, number 2. This video is 3 minutes and 44 seconds long. You can do it, okay? You can. This is President-elect Trump saying, this is how I will destroy, shatter, discombobulate the deep state. Now, I don't have time to go into all of this. If you want to do some research, Google what is the deep state. Actually, Google will probably not give you a good, anyway. Do your research. The deep state, see, our governance, our system of governing one another, which we want to have, trust me, if you do not have that, we're in trouble, all right? Come on, I'm not seeing Steve say anything. Where's my commenters? Okay. Somewhere along the line, I think it was Woodrow Wilson, shifted things dramatically, and I'm giving you a super big overview. It involved the creating of kind of a fourth branch of our government. We have 3 branches of government. Look it up, and then the fourth. And this fourth one is made up of, listen real close now, unelected, bureaucratic officials. Okay? What that means is they are put in there by other means, by government. I'm just going to say that in general. I just cannot go too deep on this. Do you understand that we have somewhere between 3, I've heard different things, but I'm going to go with the low number because that's the one I've heard most often. 3 million. Okay, everyone, stare at Jim right now. Thank you. Elijah said it correctly. Unelected, you did not elect them. Bureaucrats, that means governmental officials. It comes from the word bureau, which is desk, and crat, which is someone who enforces. Okay, look it up. You got to look some of this stuff up, okay? Bureaucratic officials who are basically running the government, not the elected people, to a large degree, not 100%, to a large degree. Unanswerable in many cases, unanswerable to anyone in many cases. Many of them cannot be fired, okay? You just cannot believe. This is what started the deep state. This is how it began, and it has flowered or metastasized into this grotesque 3 million employees. And you're paying for them. And you don't get to say. And sometimes even elected officials don't get to say. Okay. This is known throughout the halls of Congress. Nobody is ignorant of this except you and I. And you know why? Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay, the Chevron doctrine. Thank you. You should look that up. I don't have time to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, the Chevron doctrine basically says this is not lawful anymore. Okay, so anyway. But thank you. Everybody knows about this who works in Washington, D.C. They know. The ones who don't know are you and I. Why? Because let's not make sure everybody knows about this, because if they do, okay. So you've got millions, and that is not an exaggeration. At least 3 million people that are getting paid by taxpayer money. Do you wonder why we are $36 trillion in debt? Well, there's a few reasons, but this is one of them. All right, so Donald Trump in this first video comes out, and you need to listen clearly and closely. I tell people sometimes, put on the closed caption so you don't miss the words that are being said, okay? Especially if you're like me and you may not hear quite as well. All right. This is if President-elect Trump has his way, this will be dismantled. We've got really intelligent people like Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm telling you, I am a huge fan of that man. Well, he did this and this. Listen. Are you listening to me? I don't care. I just don't care. Every single one of these guys has done stupid things, okay? If that's your compass, is you're going to go, oh, they did this one thing and so we're done. You know what? Come on. Let's not be foolish. There's not a Billy Graham among them. Okay, no. I'm just saying Jesus does not hold office, all right, but he does walk the halls of Congress. All right, come on. That's why we're supposed to be praying for him. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. So he talks about how he's going to shatter the deep state. When he came in the first time in 2016, he was like, drain the swamp, we're going to drain the swamp. I believe he meant it, but he didn't know how to do it. He was unprepared, he was uneducated, he was ill-advised, and he put in some people that actually kept it from happening, some of the things he wanted to do. That has all changed. He now has people that absolutely know how to do it and have the guts. Are you listening to me? Guts on the inside. Guts. They have the guts to do what it takes. There are people like Matt Getz. I could just name Tulsi Gabbard, different people, RFK, who are willing, literally, to lose everything in order. They believe they have come into the government, into the kingdom, which is government, for such a time as this, to help restore what the enemy has corrupted in our country. Can I get an amen? I'm telling you, they're serious about doing this. Now, in a minute, I'm going to show you. This is why I said at the very beginning of the program, go back and listen if you missed it. I do not know. I'm not going to say there's nothing they won't do. I don't know. But I think we have seen a lot of the crazy. We're going to see more. Now, understand the guys that are in power that say we will not, and we've got all these people on record saying we will never let him be in the White House. You need to take them seriously. They haven't changed their mind. They're not off in the corner. They're not like all the, blue-haired, you've seen the videos of the people doing the meltdown. I don't want to mock them. That's not my point. But all the meltdowns, well, the meltdowns have turned into some crazy stuff, right? So now it's like women don't have intimate relations with your husbands. We're going to cut them off. I guess that has to do with abortion. Women cutting their hair off. We're going to wear blue bands so everybody knows we're safe and who we voted for. We're going to wear a safety pin so people know we're safe. I mean, it's craziness. It's craziness. I've got one video in here of a woman. I think she's a trans woman or whatever, and her husband, I don't know what he is. He, she, who knows, who literally hacked her father to death over the election results. And this is not some isolated thing. This is happening all over. You and I need to prepare ourselves, steel our souls. Okay, I'm not saying grab your AK and run out in the street and start a rebel. That is not what I'm saying. But you need to be mentally ready for what very likely could come. Okay, and I'm praying it doesn't come. Please, please. Believe me when I tell you, I'm praying that none of it happens. I prayed that Donald Trump did not have an assassination attempt. He did. He had a couple of them. Okay, I'm praying he doesn't have another one. Maybe, I don't know. But that's what I'm at. I do not want any of these things to happen. But just pretending that they may not happen or that they won't happen is not wise. All right, so watch number 2. Let's go to number 3. The picture that I put on Facebook and what will go on YouTube. By the way, if you've forgotten this, you can watch this program, edited version on YouTube and Rumble and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right. So this number 3 is simply a picture. Okay. There's no reading. It's just a picture of the cabinet picks so far. Okay. Let me calm down. Okay. The picture that I put on Facebook, it shows, the Avengers, right? You've seen the Avengers. They have those pictures. Da, 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 da. You got Captain America. You got the Hulk. You got all these guys, and they're, and they're doing their hands. And yeah. So somebody has taken that picture and superimposed Donald Trump, of course, and RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Getz, all these guys' faces on the Avengers. It's actually pretty funny, really. I like it. That's why I used it. Got a little humor in there. We don't know 100% the entire cabinet. We know some of them 100%, but we don't know all of them. There are a few of them that are so radical, okay, they haven't been actually confirmed, but there's a lot of talk from people in the know, some from the president. So this picture is what we know for sure, okay? And you're going to see some of the people that you've heard a lot about that I'm going to talk about in a minute that are not on that picture. It's a different picture than the Avenger picture. This is an official, it just shows you a quick pic. You can tap on it and enlarge it and look at all the names. Listen to me. I've watched most of the people on this cabinet over the last 4 years. And I am telling you right now, This is absolutely a dream team. You want to know? You want to know how to judge? If Joy Reid, if MSNBC, if the left, if liberals, if whoever you want to call them, you know my feeling about titles, if all of those people are against them, you probably want to be for them. I've listened to these. Are you listening to me? Okay, if they're out there telling them they're totally bad, evil people like they have Donald Trump, you could pretty much mark it down. They're good people. Not just good, not perfect, not never made a mistake, not never did any stupid policy. I'm talking about people that say we have got to get the corruption out of our country. You see, so many Americans don't realize that's what we're looking at. It's not just about illegal aliens. It's not just about abortion. It's about the corruption that has invested and infested itself in the politic body of this country. And it will kill us like a cancer if we do not surgically get it out. This is why the devil, there is a real devil, by the way, in case you've forgotten that. I know some of you don't believe that. It's okay. I still love you. Okay? This is why the forces of darkness, if that's what you want to call it, are so inflamed. It's not just about holding power, although it is that. It's not just about a singular issue. Every one of those issues play into it. But the ultimate thing behind it is the destruction of what God instituted when he allowed our Puritan forefathers to make this country. That's what's at stake, and it really is true. All right, look at the cabinet picks. I would say, at least all the ones that I've listened to, some of these guys are really radical. If you watch them when they're questioning the deep state and questioning people like Anthony Fauci and so on, and they're just hammering them to try to get them to tell the truth. And of course, the other guys won't tell the truth because not everything, a lot of what they do is done in hiddenness because the American public is stupid and they don't really understand what we're up against. And if they really knew why it was so important to do this or that or the other thing and to keep it from everybody, they'd freak out. Okay, so don't freak out. A lot is going to come to light. Okay, I'm not going to stay and tell you about all the arrests. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you why. Because you need to be prepared. You need to be emotionally prepared. Do you know how many people in the music industry are devastated because one perverse man got in jail? Just one. Let me tell you, there are hundreds of them. Okay, I'm not going to go down that road right now. The things that have been done in secret, the Lord Jesus said, will one day all be made open. How much on this side of heaven? I don't know. Neither do you. Don't pretend you do. You don't. How much on the other side? Everybody on the other side. That much we do know. Okay, when we get on the other side, every single secret things done in him will be revealed at that time. So that behooves you to stop doing secret things. All right, number one. Okay, I'm in a new phase here. Now we're in the part where what lies ahead for us. I'm going to try to go through these pretty quick because I've already used up a lot of time. This one is 8 minutes long. It's done by CBN, Christian Broadcasting Network, a minister I highly respect that brings forth news, I believe, to the best of their own conscience and heart with as much truthfulness as possible. I love listening to him. The question is being asked by an ex-CIA whistleblower. Do you realize how many CIA, FBI, NSA, different whistleblowers have come forth? I mean, they are way, way over the dozens. I myself have seen a number of guys who were deep in the CIA who have come out and written books now and are exposing themselves, even the things they did, and saying, here's what's really happening. Here's what you have not known. Here's what's being kept secret from you. Okay? And actually, I believe, at least to the most part, telling the truth. Now, you go to the government agency that they're exposing and say, hey, is he telling the truth? They're going to go, yeah, sorry, my hand was caught in the cookie jar. You're right. We all are really corrupt. No, come on. Let's be smarter than that. Of course they're going to say it's not true. But when it's in black and white, when it's on a written page, when you have them on video, for heaven's sakes, let's not be so foolish that we can't even believe it when the guy is right there. Okay, so the question was being asked this man, an ex-CIA whistleblower, I didn't put his name down, how much in danger is President-elect Trump right now? And basically, and there's a lot of information in this short video, so this is a really good one to watch. Basically, he says way more than you know. The plans, I'm going to make another statement. Okay, listen now. The plans to keep him from entering into the most important position in the world, okay, from him actually being inaugurated on January 20th, this gap that we have to fervently pray into, okay, this has not ceased. It's not even slowed down. As a matter of fact, it is ratcheting up because they failed to take him out, because they failed to use lawfare against him. And I'm not saying he's perfect again. I have to keep saying that all the time, okay? But in case somebody's watching who's still hung up on that, okay? There's a reason they're trying to stop him. It's not just because they don't like the orange man, okay? Come on, you got to be smart on that. His personality is not so bad that half the country, come on. No, come on. Let's be realistic. Anyway, so the attempt to keep him out of office has accelerated. They want to make it look like they backed out, but it's entirely the opposite, okay? The toolbox of ways to keep him out of that position, being inaugurated, is multiple. They've only used a couple of the things in the toolbox. There's plenty. I mean, some of these plans written out on paper have been leaked out, and people like Glenn Beck have got, here's their paper, here's what they're saying. Okay, all right. I do get a little frustrated because I think we have conditioned ourselves to be like lemmings and just nod and yeah, all right, not going to be mean. All right, so number 2 under what's coming, okay, what's coming, what we can expect. All right, number 1, let me say it again. I didn't even do number 1. Okay, is he in danger? I'm going to say this about number 1. Not since Elliot Ness and his G-men has there been such a intense, pre-planned, I got to say it right, I mean orchestrated way to take down the deep state that is running this country. Not since Elliot Ness. I'll let you look that up. Number 2. Okay, Vivek and Elon. I love both these guys. Okay, I am a little concerned about Elon, mow your lawn. I don't know. I'm concerned about him. Some of you share your concerns with me. I am too. I really am. Okay. I don't know what he will do. I only know right now what he is trying to do for the good of the country. Now, that doesn't make him okay. I'm not saying he can't turn into the Terminator later on and make iRobots and put chips in everyone's heads. I don't know, okay? So far, he has shown himself to be a man of integrity, a man of honesty, a man who says something that's forthright. Some people are saying now he's a Christian. I'm at this point, I don't buy that, okay? I think when you become a follower of Christ, like Russell Brand, I believe you will come out and not be ashamed. Whosoever believeth on me, said Jesus, will not be ashamed. So I haven't seen that yet. Okay. So I am holding my, what do we call that? I have optimistic, or I forget the phrase. I'm not optimistic, cautiously optimistic. Amen. Thank you, Christy. Cautiously optimistic, okay? But I'm keeping an eye on him, okay? Vivek, on the other hand, I don't believe he is a Christian at all. He does believe in God. Again, what I mostly care about, because I'm not looking to populate Washington with Christians. I don't even believe that would be a good thing. I have to do a whole nother program on why I don't believe that would be a good thing, okay? But I know some of you are going to freak out at saying that, but you'd have to hear my heart about that. These two guys have now been put in charge with what they're calling the Department of Governmental Efficiency, or Government Efficiency, DOGE, which just happens to be the name of one of Elon's Bitcoins. Okay, don't read more into that than there is. DOGE, Doge, there is unfathomable One of the reasons, I told you before, one of the reasons why they keep printing money, listen to me, listen. When something seems really obvious, it usually is. Occam's razor. The simplest possibility is usually the correct answer. These guys want a break. They want the economy to go under, because then they can have the different nations and digital currency and keeping an eye on everybody, and you have to report to them again, can't go down the global monetary system road right now. But one of the reasons they just keep printing money is because, well, number one, they're drunk on debt. Any of you out there gone into debt? And you know how hard it is? It can become like the spiritual bondage thing. And our country is in bondage to it. And no wonder the rest, I say our government is in bondage to that. No wonder the rest of the country is, because what happens in leadership trickles down to people. That's just the truth. Okay? So these guys are saying we have billions, if not trillions of dollars of waste. That was a fly. Waste happening in our government. I don't think anybody questions whether there's waste in the government. But it's not just all $500 toilet seats and $300 screwdriver things. This is going to shock you. Okay, these things are coming out. One of the things that are wasteful is the amount of employees, unelected bureaucrats, even elected officials, who are spending like drunken sailors. No offense to the sailors. You see what I'm saying? These things are deeply rooted systems and mindsets that have led us to where we are. Now, let me say something real quick, because these guys are going to come in and they're going to clean house. They are. And it's going to hurt people. Oh, you say, Jim, that can't be good. No. It's hurting people now, too. Okay? Firing 100,000 people and they all have to go out and find jobs. That's going to hurt those families. 100%. Okay? However, here's the principle. When you start out doing something bad and it's very small and controllable, and over the course of decade after decade, it grows and metastasizes into something that's going to kill you or whoever, whatever, the body politic, you need something radical. You need, millions, You need, okay. Lynn and I have talked about this a lot. I need you to understand this principle before I go. Okay. You've heard of the phrase, desperate times call for desperate measure. You're going to hear everybody, it's too much. You can't do that. You can't, blah, blah, blah. Desperate time. When things get really, really bad, okay, if cancer has polluted the body, you can't cure it by giving it an aspirin. Okay. You can't cure it by a change of diet. If you don't cut that thing open and cut that thing out, it will kill the body. And that is where we're at. I don't believe I'm exaggerating one bit. The amount of money that's being spent in an unnecessary and wasteful way would blow your ever-loving mind. We're just starting to see it. And believe me, these guys are holding back a little bit and letting you know. It's going to be, I'm gonna say what Trump said, and people aren't going to like this. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to rock this country if these guys are able to do what they say they're going to do, and that's go in and start surgically removing all the stuff that doesn't need to be there. Okay? Now, I'm not the only one saying this. All right? Okay, let's go on. I got to hurry. Here's a must-see. Number 3. This is Vivek Ramaswamy. Again, incredibly intelligent man with a lot of wisdom as to how to accomplish these things. And this is just one point of the deep state. Remember I said Trump says he's going to do this, and he's got all these things laid out, how he's going to dismantle the deep state to where it can never come back, okay? This is just one of those things, money. That's just one component, okay? It's a big one because a lot of our corruption revolves around money, maybe most of it. So he is being asked, how are you going to do this? And he gives a very clear explanation. You must watch this one. Number 3, it's about 10 minutes long. Super, super good. This is when I say, if you don't, because sometimes these guys use phrases and language that maybe you and I aren't really familiar with. I know lots of times I'm like, I got to stop. I got to hit the pause button. I got to look up a word. I got to, you know what I'm saying? There's no shame in that, okay? People who run in that area of that universe, they have their own language. Computer guys, they have their own language. Okay, everybody's got, you know what I'm saying? So you might want to listen to it more than once. Super, super good. Number 4, one of the guys that has been tapped as part of this I call him the dream team, okay, is Tom Holman. Now, Tom Holman is a former, I think he's like ICE director or border guy. I don't know. Look him up. He gives just a short clip where he's talking about 300,000. Now, the number has risen. Remember, it was 85,000 just a couple months ago. 300,000 children have come across the border unaccounted for. No parents. Many. To me, I can't. Abortion, the killing of the unborn and the unprotected, and the abuse, physically, sexually, in labor, is the worst thing that's happening in our country right now. There isn't anything. It kind of bothers me. Can I just tell you? What bothers me? Can you just listen? I hate it when everybody says it's all about the economy. Oh, my potatoes cost too much, so yeah, we really need somebody. Listen. You need to have enough brains to know what we are experiencing financially, and with all of this other stuff, it all comes down to immorality. Most policies are based on right and wrong. It's just true. Okay, we're going to let people come across the border. Oops. Okay, it's a good thing. No, it's not a good thing. Because you open the floodgates and you've got people dying from fentanyl like people I know personally in my own family. Okay, you need to go back to the beginning and say what's happening. All right, so I got off on that. Tom Holman is saying 300,000 kids are very likely being abused, trafficked, and so on. Why aren't we talking about this? Jim Caviezel comes out with the movie and it gets everybody's attention for a minute, then it's gone. Okay, this is what we do. It's called the news cycle. We're geared to it, whether you think you are or not. You are to some degree. Okay, East Coast, hurricanes, blah, 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 for about 2 weeks is the average news cycle. Then you notice it's not on anymore. Why? Because we've moved on to other things to grab our attention. All right, I'm just saying these kids need our attention. And Tom Holman is the man to do it. And he will take no prisoners. In the Avenger comic that has the faces of these guys, I believe they put his face on Hulk. I'm telling you, these are the people we need. We don't need patty cake, lily-livered, soft-spoken, let's just all huddle and kumbaya and get along. No, we need guys who will take the hatchet to some of these evil things. You know what? If you're trafficking a child and doing the most perverse and ungodly things to them to get money, you need somebody to put a bullet in your head. Give them a chance to repent. I know. You're saying, Jim, you're gone crazy. No. In the Old Testament, you know what God did to people that did things like that? Okay, I'm just saying. We don't need to handle these issues that have exploded with kid gloves anymore. Let me go to the next one. I know, I might have to edit that out. Somebody might have heard me. Kash Patel as a possible FBI director. I don't know where we're at with that, but Kash Patel is another one. These are radical people. These are the people that are hated in Washington. Why? Because they want to expose corruption. That's the primary reason. Not just about this or that, or I don't like how they talk, or blah, blah, blah. No. They are going to expose the evil that's in Washington, D.C. And they're hated for it, and some people want to take them out because of it. All right. Kash Patel is one of those guys. I don't know if they'll put him in as FBI, but you could listen to that. Number 5. Number 6, of course, you've already heard about RFK Jr., and he has been, as far as I'm aware, been put in charge of Health and Human Services, CDC. He's going to come in and he's going to say, he's made the statement, I haven't verified it, but I believe it's true. He said there are 1,000. Okay. If you look at the chart, of sicknesses in this country that were here in the 50s and are here now, you won't believe it. How did we go from being one of the healthiest nations in the world, where things like sugar diabetes, heart failure, mental disorders, ADHD, all these things that now it's like 1 in every 3 American has at least one of these things. How did we get here? Well, I'll tell you how we get here. You want the simple answer? Here's the simple, because I am a simple man. Yeah, I really believe that we make things way too complicated. It's really simple. They have put crap in our food for so long, we don't even think about the fact that it's there. RFK has said it. I believe it's true. I believe he's a man of his word. Okay. Some people say he's crazy and blah, blah. I don't believe that. Okay. 1,000 chemicals. Are you listening? Somebody write it down. Put down the number 1,000 so I know you're listening. 1,000 chemicals are in our food today that almost every other country in the world has outlawed because of their toxicity. FDA. Who's in control? Why isn't anyone stopping this? Because there's too much money. It always comes back to money. Follow the money. Okay? The pharmaceuticals. Okay? And all the jabs that we're getting. And they just keep piling them out, piling them out. These guys are multi-billion, some are into the trillions of dollars. There's a lot of money to be made. And someone needs to stand up and say, we're done with this. Okay? If you can prove it's healthy, thank you, Elijah. If you can prove it's healthy, if you can prove it doesn't harm the human body, we're all for it. But we started out with very stringent requirements for what goes in the processed food, to now it's just like I said, like a crapshoot. All right, pardon my language. All right, number 6. That was number 6. Number 7, almost done. More evidence of waste. This is a short one, a minute long. I think this one shows a chart. I don't remember. I think this is, what's the senator from Kentucky? Somebody tell me, is it Rand Paul? Is that right? Coming in front of a whiteboard or a poster board, and he's saying, this is how much we spent. We spent $500,000. Oh my gosh. What could most Americans do with that kind of money? $500,000 to prove whether or not cocaine makes some bird more frisky. I'll just say frisky. Okay? It is evil. It really is evil. You know, and this is why I get upset. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry, but not sorry. You Christians who say none of this matters, you are going to have to answer to God for this. It doesn't matter that we're condemning our children to a lifetime of sickness because we don't care about what goes on in our food. That's horrendous. Okay? We can close our eyes and stick our head in the sand and pretend that it's not happening, but it is happening. And you ought to be like on your knees worshiping Jesus, that somebody is coming into a position where they're going to start cutting this stuff out. You really ought to be. All right, number 7 is more evidence of waste. Last one's the rising pushback. And just because these are on the tail end of these links, please don't think they're less important. I can't put everything on the top slot, okay? You're going to watch a 2-minute video. This is number 1 under the heading, The Rising Pushback. If you're watching and you still don't know, in the description box of this program and all the other ones, these links are all listed. Okay, you can either go and directly link on them. Some of them you can just click on and go right to the video. Others you have to cut and paste and then put them in your Google or your DuckDuckGo or whatever you use as a browser. Okay, do it. Do it. Be responsible, and then tell me you did it. Okay, this first one, you're going to see a man talking to a bunch of leaders with a poster board. Listen, are you ready for this? You're not going to believe it. When I tell you they're not hiding anymore, it's because they know they can't. Again, thank you, God, for the information age that we're living in, or we would be oblivious to this stuff, as we have been for many years. A 2-minute video where he's literally explaining a shadow government. This is brand new. It is since, as far as I know, since President-elect Donald J. Trump won the election, They've come out now and said, okay, we're going to make a shadow government. Watch it. You won't believe it. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. When I tell you they have not rescinded their commitment to overthrow this, I am telling you the truth. Okay? As a matter of fact, I believe that it is ratcheted up now. So this man standing and he's naming names. He's saying, this person, I don't have the names memorized, so-and-so can be our Secretary General. So-and-so can be our Minister of Defense. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe these guys. That itself ought to be illegal. Okay? Where's the judges? Where's the Justice Committee? Where are the people? Where's the Attorney General saying, hey, you idiots, you can't do this. This is subversion. This is treason. You can't do this. But you know what? They have pulled out all the stops because in their minds, in their cranium, they really believe it is going to be the end of everything if this man DJT gets in office. It's an incredible thing. All right, number 2. This one's 15 minutes long. This is real reformation and what's coming. These are really important for you to see not only what's coming, but how they're going to fight against it. Number 3, and this is another one that's a must-see, total upheaval is coming, okay? I want to verify again, emphasize again, I do not want this to happen. I pray with tears, and that I'm being literal. These things don't happen. But I want you to be ready if they do. If ever we needed to be praying. The reason I showed you the picture of the cabinet picks and the dream team was not because I just want to rejoice in how awesome it is. I want you to start praying for them. Linda and I had a long conversation coming back from a meeting the other day. And it was like the Lord was really, I felt like he was really honest. And there needs to be agencies that are raised up that will pray for this cabinet. Because they are literally in danger. Not only are they physically, but their intentionality, their intention, and their process of dismantling. That's the primary thing, dismantling the deep state. A lot of these other things will heal themselves. To dismantle the deep state is a no-go in the minds of a lot of people. And they will do, in my opinion, almost anything, maybe anything, to keep it from happening. We cannot afford to stop praying. As much as you were praying that Donald Trump got elected and that, we prayed that prayer every day for 90 days, Jesus, I plead your blood over my sins and the sins of my nation. God, break the power of wickedness or wicked men. I can't remember which. The idea is we prayed that wickedness will be exposed and brought down. As much as we did it then, we need to be doing it now over the next 2 months. Okay, it's not time to sit back and just go, hey, we won. It's all done. No, it's not. Mark it down. If I'm wrong, if we have peace from now to then, I'll get on and say, hey, I overreacted. But we need to pray. And then the last few ones you can take a look at. I don't do a lot of the videos about people melting down because I really feel sorry for them, and I don't care about getting a lot of clicks. Okay, I don't do this for money. I never get money for it. Okay, don't imagine I ever will. Number 1 and number 2, I called this last one, the crazies are coming. It's not just about those in political power that are going to act out. Okay, it is also people. I actually feel like the people who are not in a position of power where they have to use some discretion, people often don't. I saw, just as an example, and I told you about the lady who used an ice pick to kill her dad. That's the first one here. And it's a read. It's not a video. It's a very short read. But I saw another video of a woman who came right out and said, kill Donald Trump, kill J.D. Vance. And then she just listed. I mean, in case you weren't aware, you can go to jail for threatening or encouraging other people to kill a human being, any human being for that matter. Okay? You can act, or you at least used to. People are going crazy. Thank God not everybody is. Okay? Don't walk in fear. Don't think because you see a lot of these things on X or Instagram or YouTube that's the majority of people. It's not. There's still a minority of people. But you do need to be aware that there are some really crazy people out there, and they are demonically motivated. It's not just mental illness, okay? It is that. Works through the mind. But many, if not most of them, are demonically controlled. And you need to be aware of that. All right, number two, this is a good news. The Federal Appeals Court has upheld a ban on transgender treatment in Indiana. Yay. You know why they did that? Because enough people said something. Because enough people didn't embrace the doctrine that Christians aren't supposed to say anything. Okay, I'm not going to go there. Number three, and this is the last one. I have to be careful about how I say this, so this won't even get on the channels. I'm done. I'm going to say one more thing and I'm done. I told you maybe 4-ish years ago, something, I had an encounter with the Lord. And again, if you don't believe in God, you can say goodbye right now, just shut me off. But I'm going to say it anyway. I had an encounter with God where He showed me what was coming in the realm of human sexuality and how bad it was going to get. And I basically was shown in a dramatic fashion that one day men and women would stand up publicly and declare that the P word, that's all I'm going to say is the P word, you know what I'm talking about, right? P-E-D, okay. Ilia they would press for it to become legal. And this basically started when Barack Obama stood up from the podium and said he had changed his mind about gay marriage and that he now is in support of it. And the Lord encountered me and came to me and said, here's what's going to happen. He said, this is going to have a trickle-down effect. You're going to start seeing this accelerate. It'll go from this stage to this stage to this stage to this stage. One thing I didn't see was the transgender movement. He didn't show me that. I might have been, die of mournful sickness. I don't know. But he did show me that kind of the end thing would be to legalize the P word. So this last one, I do not like showing this one, okay? It's got some very graphic language by the person that posted it. I am 100% against using language like that because I think Jesus is, okay? Not being pious or holier than that, I'm just saying. But this is evidence of this, and this is not. This is a woman standing in front of a group of people saying, hey, people really can't help this. It's born into them. This is the new thing. Everything anybody does, from murder to whatever, they're really not to blame for it because it's all in their DNA. That is a lie from the pits of hell. It is. Because it removes people from their responsibility. Now, she'll say something about we're responsible for our actions, but really that she doesn't mean it. Because her whole thing is about it. These guys can't help it. So the ultimate point is to make a law out of it. Say it's okay. Rome. Okay, we're not the first culture that has done this. All right, I got to stop. I'm over my time limit. One more time, thank you for listening. Really love and appreciate you. Please be in prayer. If you came in on the tail end of this, listen to it from the beginning. And again, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to the channel, whatever channel you're watching it on. Even if it's multiple channels, it's okay. You're not going to get penalized, okay? Hit the notification bell or whatever they use to notify, and then ultimately when you're done, copy the link. By now you all ought to know how to share these things. Copy the link and share it. If every one of the 1,000 people that watch shared with one person, it would go viral. It's not because I'm important, it's because you are. And it's because God says He wants right things. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. I believe God wants our country righteous, but we have to do our part. Amen? All right, guys. Love you. God bless you. And give yourself permission to have a great day. Bye-bye.